his back through and through. But that's not something that I think he needs to worry about, because here we go. It's the homeboy, VENGEURR, going up against CNZ. Map number 1 on Awoken. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do this catch-up. We're starting with VENGEURR, of course. He's going to be going over to the Mega straight away. He might get himself 2 major items as he gets that information on where CNZ is. And CNZ's going to push right through. Rail missed off the start, but it's okay. Time to break in. Quick little flick straight away. CNZ stood still for a second. He's over on the side. I believe he just caught wind of him.
But looking at the matchup, Doomslayer versus Nyx, this is very much going to be similar mobility. I feel like, you know, Doom and Nyx together, I feel like her wall jump almost acts like a double jump on this map because of how many walls exist.
No, indeed. There's a lot of quick things that you can do just the same as the other. VENGEURR's going to have to break away. He's low on life. He's going to find himself over to the light armor. That will string him along a little bit, but he's going to need more in the tank. Find CNZ, watching out for any of those angles that CNZ might be going after. He kind of needs to back away, trying to ensure that he doesn't get trapped.
It looks like VENGEURR was not entirely aware of just how close to a potential disaster he was, thanks to CNZ giving him no information. That rail's going to miss thanks to a clutch little double jump. Let's not forget Doomslayer's double jump makes those rail angles just a little bit more tricky. However, here comes the LG 1v1. VENGEURR, is he going to win this fight? Oh. He will not, because CNZ has far too much of a stack to work with. However, that was some tasty LG all the same.
Very much so. Here come the rockets. Forced Ghost Walk now. VENGEURR's still got his starting stack to make it across. He predicts that flawlessly with 2 rockets, getting himself on the board.
That was such a good decision to make. With so many avenues to escape, the one he dedicated to was on the money! Knocked towards the jump pad. That is going to be a free Mega, so VENGEURR has to take that into account. Hits a bunch of LG MOBs, quite low on ammunition and stack to boot. He's going to disengage temporarily. Thankfully, you know, near this side of the map, there's so much stuff to pick up, but the fight for Heavy begins again. CNZ a little bit too early there to take the fight, and VENGEURR wise to it. And how much LG damage he pumps out in such a short space of time is ridiculous.
That was such a late fight to go for, but it looks like he's got perfect timing of the items to the absolute second. And that's helping him make those decisions to make those really last-second aggressive plays. Now he's got that rail in hand. Some of the things that we've seen him do with the railgun in this map, again, blows my mind.
But right now, he's just trying to keep that rotation of the main pickups going. It's going to be Heavy first. No damage taken on the way through. CNZ happy to concede it for now. And some Tri-Bolt. Nice little bit of Tri-Bolt to undo some of the damage done by that Heavy being picked up. And the Ghost Walk's available too, so this might be quite an explosive fight. Lovely little reactionary rail through the corner though. CNZ looking for it, but what's more important to VENGEURR is a bonus rail, but control. That's what matters right now. Tri-Bolt. Oh, that one hurt so good. I wonder how he's going to lay the chase.
So I'll look through the hole in the wall in a second, make sure he's got that. Oh, there was an angle there. VENGEURR's the type of person who would go for that little spam shot as well. CNZ's trying to climb up, but he's missed the jump. I think VENGEURR's figured out what he's up to. Oh, there's the tiniest of angles, but he won't find it. He'll just defend that Mega Health instead, and CNZ just on the run a little bit, trying to stabilize the game somewhat. Seeing what he can make of this.
Minimal damage on the rocket, but with CNZ unable to distribute anything himself, really. It's going to be a little bit of a neutral situation. Here comes the rocket fight. Massive LG coming out, and CNZ not even able to deny that Heavy, of which VENGEURR collects. And a spawn rail. That one hurts a lot, and he lays chase. CNZ should be dead for another time if he catches him after the reappear, but he doesn't for now. Still in a little bit of an awkward position. He's just taken all the pickups and there's nothing left. Has run out of LG ammo. Will it matter? No, it won't. That rail's coming out again, and CNZ dropping an LG just did VENGEURR a huge service.
Yeah, that is an enormous service. Thank you very much. He'll take that. And the fact that the Mega was taken anyway, and he still comboed it with the rockets. Okay, this is the one thing. I didn't mention earlier about the weapons. If there's something to look out for, I was talking about the rails, but I personally believe that VENGEURR's got the best rockets in the world. And I think that's something that's going to come to fruition a little more as we go through the series.
Some of that verticality in play. Minimal damage distributed, goes for a flick, isn't going to hit its mark. 2 shots in a row, missing, very unlike VENGEURR, but I mean, they're 2 kind of tricky angles, really, especially when you're going in for that double jump. CNZ trying to really make a play near that Heavy. And he's going to go in and out and collect. VENGEURR, no reason to overextend now. He has a really sizable frag lead for how, I think, early we are on this map. So if VENGEURR just maintains a stack, hits shots like that, he's just going to undo all the work that CNZ does anyway. Point blank fight's going to break out. The rockets are really good, but can he finish it off? The rail connects on VENGEURR and CNZ. Signs of life at long last. It took him a while to get there.
VENGEURR does like holding that connector position, but on this occasion it got him into a spot of trouble. He's still aggressing. He's got that lightning gun, trying to force out something. A lot of damage done by both players. We need to see a quick recovery on the stacks from CNZ. He's going to have the mega health up in 10 seconds time. What can get done by this gentleman?
Right now he's just looking to sit towards mega. Gets clipped by a rail, so that's something that CNZ really wants to actively avoid. You don't want all that hard work to be undone by one good shot. Pops the Ghost Walk out of pure, just, if he didn't use that, he was probably going to be dead. Is VENGEURR going to make chase? Trying to head him off down the bottom. Is going to use the teleporter. Very brave indeed. A wonderful weapon swap to the LG. Wise to VENGEURR's double jump. Doomslayer and LGs do not get along at all. Here comes another LG fight. Looks like he's going to be able to tie the knot. He does. 4 frags to 4. And CNZ brought himself straight back into this fight with only a few seconds, really, until Ghost Walk becomes available again. Watch out for that rocket. And that one too.
That hurt a lot. That made me flinch just there. One thing CNZ's been very good at is punishing with a lightning gun while VENGEURR is double jumping. It's got him so much extra DPS. VENGEURR has figured out where CNZ is, but he's got to do all that hard work that he did again all over again if he really wants to make the crowd roar. Lightning gun, again, one of these direct rockets coming out. 5 seconds until the mega health. The splash is coming out, looking for the machine gun as VENGEURR, and he suddenly hits the sweet spot. VENGEURR going to race towards the mega to ensure some kind of control on the map and possibly challenge for the heavy, especially now he's just seen CNZ moving over towards mega position.
Rail's been collected. CNZ with no armor. That's very, very dangerous plays indeed. The heavy's going to go in favor of VENGEURR as well. And as long as CNZ doesn't have any armor,
wow,
it's going to hurt about that much. And now CNZ forced into a really awkward position. He chases it with the rail anyway. Hits a chunky little angle there. CNZ fresh off the spawn once again, kind of starved from starting armor. And that one armor he collected, there's nothing nearby. If this fight doesn't go in his favor, he has to retreat. VENGEURR, intelligently, is going to starve him of that armor, which now means CNZ forced down bottom. And there's only one place he can realistically be. CNZ's ready for the angle, but the rail's good again. VENGEURR hitting the money shots every single time.
He's been absolutely perfect with that. Oh, and CNZ spotted once again. He manages to get past the angle, but how does he escape this time? Goes through the teleporter and is caught out. 8-4 now. VENGEURR starting to feel better and better on this map.
There's just this next level of awareness, isn't there? Like, it's down to the smallest detail of, I know exactly when you're going to go through a teleporter. Sometimes you don't have time to react to that. You just have to dedicate to a timing and go. But VENGEURR, as long as he's sitting on some armor, he can continue to tank rails for the foreseeable. 100 on the rocket. Looking so good right now. CNZ forced away. The Tribot's going to give him at least information that he is indeed around the corner. Teleports round. That's risky stuff. And he's going to take massive damage to boot. VENGEURR trying to get some information here.
This has got very interesting now because he's given up the mega health and there's 10 seconds still heavy. I think it's going to be difficult for VENGEURR to do anything about the heavy. He's going to look for an awkward angle to get some damage on. Otherwise, he might start being on the defensive a little bit, and he'll just hope that he can get to 100-100. There's a light armor. That helps a lot.
And staying near LG, there's so many small pickups that you can fall back to if need be. We have the other light armor down there, 2 small health bubbles. Opting to actually go for the switch, and he's definitely going to try and elude CNZ at this point. He has a minute and a half left. Oh, the rocket again! All it really does is just mess up where CNZ's going to try and chase him, and now he has to waste time trying to figure out where he is again.
Yeah, so VENGEURR's been showing us different styles of play here. We've seen that aggression. We've seen the sort of passive nature that he's had when things were close up in the sort of mid-game, now getting late game, protecting a lead, trying to be a bit more defensive actively. Avoids the Ghost Walk trap. Rockets on the teleporter exit. CNZ's going to go in hard because he has to at this stage. Now it's the lightning gun defense. Rail fade away. That could have been fatal for VENGEURR, but he avoids death, and here comes that mega health. VENGEURR's not even going to go for it. He doesn't even want to risk
Too risky. Yeah, way too risky to go for a mega in this situation. CNZ a little bit wise to it, though, as well. So he is going to establish this mega. At this point, though, VENGEURR happy for him to take it. We're long past the 1-minute warning. CNZ has to get 4 frags to even tie the knot. And VENGEURR, that immediate shift of styles, but happened just at the right time.
30 seconds. VENGEURR can smell victory at the moment. CNZ still going to chase. Still going to see how he can test this medal here.
He's going to try at least get as many frags as he can. There's definitely no way he's making this comeback with the time that's left. And he has to use the Ghost Walk. That's 5 seconds roughly gone. Gets clipped by the rail anyway. And by all accounts, this is absolutely a finished map #1. VENGEURR reminding us all why he is absolutely the king of Awoken.
Oh, we're going to get one more right at the end. Just a second to spare. It won't be another kill. Going to have a 9-4 VENGEURR. He's up on stage. He's getting a map win. And you can hear that the Italian audience are delighted by his efforts.
And this might only continue should VENGEURR continue in this bracket.
It's tricky now going over to Molten because we're going to have a very different map coming up next. The dynamics of play are going to change quite vastly, I think. But here we get to enjoy some of the work that VENGEURR was doing. And that rocket, this was actually quite insane. I thought if he didn't get the kill before the Mega spawned, that he would have been in a lot of trouble. But it's those rockets. He has this way of being able to they just gravitate towards his opponents.
I also think the LG was just on fire the entire course of that map too. And you know, Nick, she's one of the smaller champions. She's not very easy to keep that constant stream of LG going.
Yeah, I want to talk a bit about CNZ though, because he's going against someone who knows has that home crowd support. There's a lot of extra stresses that he's suddenly got to deal with, even after the big match that he played earlier on. I think he showed us a very tight game anyway. His aim was good. It's just occasionally you just expose yourself a little bit to VENGEURR's rails, and he probably lost about 3 or 4 kills just on that alone. CNZ moving onto a map that he's probably going to be more comfortable with when we get away from VENGEURR's favorite map. This could be really interesting.
But I mean, fundamentally, it's just an example of why he's so dangerous on Awoken too.
50% rail, oh my god.
I know. On Awoken too, that's definitely
it's not
no easy feat.
It's like he makes the angles up, right? He's the innovator on Awoken.
It's much like the young
He
generation
sets the
of players that aren't afraid to kind of go into the custom games and just experiment with all kinds of different things. Just run around on a map by yourself, look for things that may be unexpected. Every time he plays Galena, it's similar. Like he's one of those players that does like to place those funky Galena totems that in ways that maybe he hasn't even told anyone yet. You know, there's really hidden locations that you just miss.
Got to hide strats, man. You got to hide strats for LAN and be ready for it. When you got those big QPL games, whether it's on the weeklies or anything, strats you got to save for that.
We're going into a second map. Might be a 2-0 here, Zoot.
Might be. I don't know just yet. I think CNZ's got a lot of fight left in him. He's got Visor. I think Visor's a strong champion on Molten. I want to see how CNZ's going to test himself here.
He is going to have that massive piece of utility, which just, the matchup that we actually saw earlier on. It's just a whole factor of Visor's piercing sight on a map like this, which is so large-scaled. But also with so many avenues you can run around. It's just such a vital piece of utility. And CNZ has a bit of a rough idea now where he is, dictating whether it's safe to just dip in and collect that Mega, or if VENGEURR's looking for an angle. Looks like right now he's nowhere to be found. There's going to be a natural delay in between the Heavy in this case. He's looking for a shot, goes for the defensive rocket to push him away, knowing it's safe, in fact, to run down, collect the Heavy, and then try and get out safely.
I've got to get a lot of patience, I think, on this map. This is a very big change of style from Awoken. This is one of the slowest maps in the pool. I'd put it in the sort of same area as a Blood Run, for instance. Don't expect many frags per minute, but expect the frags that do happen to be high value.
You know what's also high value, Zoot? The Mega Health. CNZ's going to run in and collect it. But is he going to be able to bully away from the Heavy, actually?
Oh.
Yes, look for a rail angle if he's going to concede those pickups. Or a decent rocket like that. That's definitely better than nothing.
I mean, he got rid of just so much overstack all of a sudden. Those advantages that CNZ gained from that control have mostly gone. Now it's a bit of a firefight. Who's going to be able to get out in front from that? Can VENGEURR put some pressure on the Mega Health? I don't think he's looking to take it. He's looking to just do some damage. He does his job there, hitting a rail. I think it's not going to count for too much because of the light armor that's available to pick up immediately, but he might have just bought himself enough time to get onto the Heavy. And that's what he's just backed away onto with another landed rail.
Absolutely wonderful positioning too, knowing that the fastest way to reach it is by going through that teleporter, so just making the right prediction to hold the angle, react accordingly when you see him go through the teleporter, and just like that, has allowed VENGEURR to go and kind of collect that Heavy. If you look at the stacks, it's kind of almost like a mirror effect. And now CNZ is trying super hard not to give away too much of a position. Mega's going to go again. No doubt VENGEURR might have heard that one, but are we going to continue go back and concede the Heavy? Or is CNZ going to be able to spring it? Looks like he's going in, but can he really make it significant? Hits a rail, and actually very almost like once more a mirror effect to what happened.
Yeah, and VENGEURR's like, I want to equalize things, I want to hit my own, and there we go, there's another. And, oh, okay. CNZ splitting the difference a little bit. VENGEURR a little worse for wear than the Estonian, but the items are coming back up. Mind games going on over here. No one really ready to fully commit to the fight, but because each player is just getting that sort of last word in with the rails, they have to reset. We've just had 2 rails from VENGEURR. CNZ's got to fall back. He is in a very troubling position at the moment. Now that VENGEURR's got a big split between the major items, which is huge on a map like Molten, where the route to one to the other is hard, and he just finds him in the corridor. There we go. Little freebie for VENGEURR. That's a 1-0.
And that was to the digit exactly how much damage he needed, thanks to the fact that there was no armor nearby. It took the light far too much time to spawn. Goes in with the Dire Orb as well for good measure, and doesn't even need it. That's a good display of dominance right there, but VENGEURR, he's now going to be free to run that circuit. Does get hit by a single rail. Very important that CNZ is able to still land those shots. He has run in and taken the heavy. He's conceding a lot of damage, gets the juggle, but at what cost? He's very weak indeed, but VENGEURR is even weaker at this stage.
I mean, although he's kept himself alive, it's still pretty precarious. The damage he just did to CNZ is like, of course CNZ's going to take everything here. He has to wait for those 15 seconds, and he's there. He's got the orb out, but he's under a lot of pressure. CNZ gonna match things. We are 1 for 1, and he left the mega health up for a while, knowing that VENGEURR is just scrambling to get any kind of health on the map. That was very smart from CNZ.
It's just great awareness too, to understand that realistically, we know we're both good players in this situation. So what would I do in those shoes? You know, I wouldn't run straight towards Mega and take it. I would go out and push out. So kind of exactly what he did to cut him off. But he's got a lot of stack to work with right now. Not a long time until Piercing Sight either, thanks to the hourglasses that he's collected. 8 seconds, and we'll see in full effect. But it's like you said, too, this is definitely one of those slower-paced games. All right, here comes that information. Piercing Sight, what's the play going to be? Neither player giving too much noise out. Does mean VENGEURR at the time didn't really know where he was. But here come those prediction rockets. CNZ taking tons of damage. He does manage to beat him to the punch with Mega, though. And fortunately, he should be able to get in and out. No rail's going to hit its mark either. And with that slight armor spawning, CNZ's in great shape.
He's in amazing shape. VENGEURR hit so much damage during that fight. He won the fight, and then CNZ kind of dropped nicely onto the mega health, and his positioning then wins him the entire situation. He's just found VENGEURR. He's going to try and push hard onto him. There's going to be the rail. He really poised himself there to ensure that he's going to land the shot. Mega will get taken. VENGEURR hoping for some kind of item to spawn. CNZ is going to start getting aggressive as he is looking for an advantage with this. And he's just been found, but CNZ stops his jump, so can't carry that momentum forward and chase.
CNZ not going to go anywhere without that heavy, though. VENGEURR is somewhat on the back foot. Definitely feels like he's the one playing the runaway game just to try and stay alive. Has hit some of that entry damage. Taking a one-on-one fight like here would be suicide, especially knowing that CNZ is on a fat stack. A rocket like that, though, has just out of nowhere evened the odds. He's looking for a rail shot. Does manage to land it. Thank you very much, Visor, for that piercing sight. And the stack difference is severe. If CNZ hits a fight now, he's in a great position. VENGEURR not going to make it easy for him. But the rotation of items, it just continues to be in CNZ's favor. And VENGEURR kind of risky to try and make a play at this moment when he hasn't got as much health to work with.
So now he's just got himself to 100-100. VENGEURR's going to feel like he can fight, but it's very much got to be on his terms. So you see then, if CNZ lands the rail, VENGEURR is in huge trouble.
Especially here. Not a lot of places to run. He has got a Dire Orb, but using it evasively is always a bit of a disappointment sometimes because the burst that comes with it is massive. Looks like VENGEURR might be forced to use it. Goes for a double back. Does get some damage, and it's going to be enough to take the frag. 2-1 for VENGEURR, just waiting for the magic moment. CNZ goes in for the kill, and the orb just melts away.
It was all about the orb. CNZ's usually so respectful of plays like that. I think he got a bit impatient. VENGEURR was playing a strong defensive game. And yeah, push comes to shove, CNZ makes that decision. Does not work out for him. Rail looking for a little mini flick. Was going to find some damage there. CNZ still not in terrible shape, but VENGEURR is going to lean his way towards the heavy armor and hope that maybe he can find some greater fortunes there.
VENGEURR really camping out this rail rim too. He knows that CNZ hasn't really spawned near it, so it's quite an ace in the hole to have that weapon advantage.
So VENGEURR's now missed his opportunity for the heavy armor, which he knows clearly. However, he's got timing. He's got perfect timing on heavy, and he's got a good rough timing of mega health. And now 100-100. Again, as long as he can play with that information between piercing sights, he's not feeling terrible. But this is a long time to play hyper defensive versus an in-control Visor.
Oh, catch him through, double back with the teleporter. He'll say thank you very much for that 100 damage, that's for sure. 2.5 minutes left on the clock suit.
And that play has allowed him to get on the heavy. It's just sometimes delivering some of these rockets, it rattles his opponents, and it causes them to have to make those longer routes straight away. Mild distraction from CNZ looking to put on some pressure means suddenly control is contested heavily.
There's not a huge delay in between VENGEURR and Heavy either. Minimal damage on the rockets too. VENGEURR doesn't want to overextend, not while he's got the frag lead at this point. 2 minutes on the clock. He has to play a real slow-paced game, but at the same time, he can't really allow CNZ to bully him away too much. You know, we actually have seen what happened earlier today when a player takes their foot off the gas a little bit too early and they just give up control completely. A fight is pretty much forced and you're not really equipped to deal with it.
VENGEURR's really defensive. This is very unusual for VENGEURR. People who've been watching him online will know how aggressive and eccentric he is with his plays. His defensive game style is one of the aspects of play that I think he struggled with the most, but he's showing us very good form at the moment. Good range in play, I think, is a great way to put it. But we'll see if he can hold on, because it's this game of time, this game of resources that CNZ's been winning over the last 4 minutes. His control's been fantastic, but it's time to push it to that next level. What kind of value can he get from a piercing sight? Just well-timed.
And there's a really high risk to this play too, because let's not ignore the fact that there's only one frag that's different between the players. He's going to land a rail, and the stack difference means if VENGEURR's forced into a fight, it might not be favorable. That's why the defensive rockets come through. He has to try and even the odds, but it looks like he's going to get the chase anyway. Tries to elude him. Can he win this fight?
Oh, what?
I cannot believe VENGEURR survived that 1v1 and lived to tell the tale. Absolute insanity.
Unbelievable just there. Holding ground on the side by the rocket spawn. You think some splash that something would get him. He made himself look untouchable somehow, hitting that rail right at the end.
Out of this world, how someone can have a stack disadvantage like that and still come off better. And this slow-paced game just became a nightmare for CNZ. Yeah, he's got the 2 items, but who cares? There's 15 seconds on the clock. What a play! And absolutely, I think, the frag of the tournament so far.
Just the likeliness of that happen was too low. It was just simply too low. Catch up. Look at what VENGEURR has gone and done. He's got himself a 2-0 here in his home region. Some very close maps there, but he's going to be buzzing from that.